So for the first section in section A on page 35, we have to complete each statement for parallelogram MNPL. So the first statement says line segment MN, that's this one, is congruent to another thing. Which one is it congruent to? You guys can. Yes, I believe I heard it, although I kind of interrupted you, my bad. LP. And then just put a line on top of that. And then also they have ML, line segment ML, is congruent to which one? NP. Yes, thank you. Sorry, I was reading the chat. And then I also interrupted you. But good job, guys. Yeah, so just write that those are congruent because the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. So good job. Number 2 says angle NML, that's this one, is congruent to angle, which one?
NPL.
Yeah, NPL, right over here on the bottom. So that one, so I'm gonna write NPL. They already wrote the angle symbol, so I guess I don't need to anymore. And then the other one is, I guess I'll use that color, MLP, that's this one, is congruent to angle what?
PNM.
Yep, PNM. So PNM. By the way, if you go like this, M and P, same thing, no big deal. If you wrote it like this, LPN, same thing, no big deal. As long as you have the P on the middle, or in this case, the N in the middle. Okay, I'll give you guys a little bit of time to catch up. Okay, let's do the next one. MN, that's the top one, is parallel to which line segment?
LP.
LP, good. And then they also say ML. That one is parallel to which one?
NP.
NP, good. Good, good. So I see multiple people participating. Good, good. And then we have MR is congruent to, here, what color should I do this in? Yeah, I'll just use purple, okay. MR, this line segment over here, from M all the way to the R, the center, it is congruent to which side? Or which segment? Sorry.
PR.
Yeah, PR, right over here. That does not look like an R. There we go. And by the way, if you do RP, it's fine as well. It doesn't matter. And then last but not least, we have LR. So this one is congruent to which piece? Oh, yes, an R.
RN.
RN and R, same thing. And R, RN, same thing. Whichever one you put is perfectly fine. Good job, guys. Any questions on section A? Okay, if there are any questions, make sure you interrupt me so that I can go back to help you out. But it doesn't sound like there is anything, so I'm going to go to section B. Okay, complete each statement for rhombus UVWX. So it's a rhombus, right? That means all four sides have to be congruent. So let me just mark which one they start off with. UV is congruent to, you can list it out or just say them all. What are they? What is it congruent to?
XW.
Yep, XW is one of them. Another?
UX.
UX is another, good. And then the last one?
BW.
BW, good. They are all congruent because in a rhombus, all four sides are congruent, and that's part of the notes that we went over just 10 minutes ago, or however long it was. Okay, and then let's do the angles. So I'll do angle UVW, that's this one, is congruent to which one?
UXW.
Good, UXW, the opposite one. And then we have the other angle, XUV, that's this one, congruent to?
It's equal to XWV.
Good, XWV, that one. Great job. So the opposite angles are congruent. And then we also have parallel sides to talk about. So we have UV, that's the top one, is parallel to which one?
XW.
Good. XW. And then we also have that UX is parallel to?
BW.
Good. So those are our sets of parallel lines. Opposite lines or opposite sides are parallel. And then we also have UE.
Miss Jade,
Yes,
is there anything on top of number 1, or is that it? Like,
that's it.
okay.
So we have UE over here. UE is congruent to which one?
EW.
EW. Good. So those two are congruent because that diagonal got bisected. And then we also have XE is congruent to
EV.
EV. Good. So this diagonal also got bisected. So the two diagonals bisect each other. Okay. Any questions on anything we've done so far? Make sure you let me know. Okay, sounds like a no, but if it's just because you're lagging, just make sure you interrupt me and I will be happy to answer your question. Let's go on to part C. Okay, C says, determine the missing statement needed to prove each quadrilateral is a parallelogram by the parallelogram congruent parallel side theorem. And you're like, oh my God, that's a long word. What in the world is it talking about? So let me go back to the notes to show you what it says. Parallelogram, congruent parallel side theorem. Parallelogram, congruent parallel side theorem. So this one says, if one pair of opposite sides of a quadrilateral is both congruent and parallel, then the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So we're looking for opposite sides. Okay, so we're going to be talking about opposite sides, and we need it to be 1, congruent, and 2, parallel. Okay, two things, congruent and parallel for these opposite sides. So that's what we're going to take a look at on our skills practice. Okay, so number 1, it says x, y is parallel to ZW. So they picked the opposite sides for us, and they already said it's parallel. Now we just need to say it's also what?
Congruent.
Congruent, yes. So then all we have to write is xy is congruent to ZW. And that's it. So this is the missing statement that we needed. We need to state that they are congruent as well. Okay, let's do another example. So for the second example, they say PS is congruent to QR. So they picked the opposite sides for us, and they said that they are congruent already. What do we need to say now?
Parallel.
Yep, that they're parallel. So let's write that. PS is parallel to QR. And that's it. That's the missing statement. And we got it. So now that we did 2 examples, do you guys have any questions on this one? Topic? Section? Whatever it's called. All right, let's move through the rest of them. So we have for number 3, they picked They picked MN and PQ as congruent. We need to say that they are
Parallel.
parallel. Good, thank you. MN is parallel to PQ. All right, so we wrote that they're parallel, and that's it for number 3. If they say it's congruent, we say it's parallel. Let's do the next one. They said CF is parallel to DE. So they said it's parallel. We need to say it's
Congruent.
congruent. CF is congruent to DE. Good, good. Let's do the next one after I give you guys a little bit of time to write, because I know I write fast and I go fast, so sorry. Okay, hopefully that was a little bit of time. We also have ST is parallel to VU. They said it's parallel, so we need to say it's
Congruent.
congruent. Good job. ST is congruent to VU. Good. And by the way, we are making these statements to say that therefore these are parallelograms. So if they tell us these opposite sides are parallel and we write that they are congruent, then the shape is a parallelogram. So that's what we're doing. We're proving that it's a parallelogram. Last one, we have KG is congruent to HL. They told us these opposite sides are congruent, so we need to say that they are
Parallel.
Parallel.
Oh, good job. Parallel to HL. Okay, and I'm gonna wait here so that you guys have some time to write. Okay, on to the next section. Complete each statement for the trapezoid UVWX. Okay, so the bases of the trapezoid are, does anybody already know? It's the parallel sides. Which ones are the parallel sides?
UX and V.
And VW.
These are the parallel sides. Can you name those? So it's gonna be UV and XW. So those are our bases. They are the parallel sides of the trapezoid. The other 2 are called the legs. So let me just write these base. Okay. The pairs of base angles are, let me do them in different colors. You have this base angle pair. Let's name those. Can you guys name those?
Is it UX and VW?
You have 3 letters to name an angle. So UXW would be one of them, like UXW. And then the other one could be named what?
VWX.
Yes, VWX. So V to W to X. Yeah. So those are one pair of base angles. Let's do the other pair of base angles. I'll do it in, I don't know, purple. This one and this one. Can you name those for me? Okay, I'll name this one. I'm just going to start with XUV. Or if you did VUX, same thing, it's totally fine. That's this one. And then somebody name the other angle for us.
VUX.
VUX. Oh, VUX is this one. It's the same thing. VUX, same thing. But I also saw VWX. VWX would be this one. So VWX. So it would be the bottom one. But we're not trying to name the bottom one. Put V in the middle.
W.
Yeah, UVW. So starting at U, going to V, going to W would be one way to name that top right one.
Miss Jade,
Yes?
right there where you put VWX and angle
This thing?
XUV. Yeah. Wait, why did you put like a different like
Different order?
switch?
Oh, because
Yeah, like
so if
underneath it.
for XUV is XUV. So it's that angle, right? And then for VUX, it's starting at V, go to U, go to X. It's the same angle. It's just
Oh,
depends
okay.
how like the person
It's just
wanted to name it. Huh?
So it's just switched. So
Yeah,
either one would work.
either one would work. And then for this bottom one, you could have said WVU. Also works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it just depends on like whatever. Mhm,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Like what I name it might be different from what one of you wrote down, but it's not that you're wrong, it's still right. So yeah. Okay, so then any other questions on what we've done so far? Okay, let's move on to the legs. The legs are, well, they're the ones that are not the bases. So we have, oops, that's not how you write.
UX.
Uh-huh. UX is one of them. Good. And then the other one?
WV.
VW.
VW or WV, same thing. I shouldn't call it legs plural. That's a leg and the other one's a leg too. So UX or, and VW. Or you could have said XU, WV, same thing. Okay. And then last but not least, the vertices are just the four corners. So you could just call them U, V, X, W. Those are your vertices. Just the four corners, these four letters, U, V, X, W. Those are your vertices. Okay? Any questions on part D? Okay. Anybody still need to see this? I'll give you guys 10 more seconds to type the word yes in the chat. Cool. Okay, next section. Use the given figure to answer each question. The figure shown is a kite with, says Dad, angle DAB is congruent to angle DCB. Which sides of the kite are congruent? So we have this kite over here. They told us that angle DAB is congruent to angle DCB. So they said those two angles are congruent. And then they want to know which sides of the kite are congruent. So the kite has two pairs of congruent sides that are right next to each other. So it would be AB and BC. I know I just gave you the answer, but this is our example problem. AB is congruent to BC. So those two are going to be congruent. And then also AD and DC. Or CD, however you want to say it. Do you guys have questions on that one? Okay, let's go on to the next one. The figure shown is a kite with FG being, oops, that's not FG. FG being congruent to FE. Which of the kite's angles are congruent? So the angles that are congruent are the, well, you can see it in blue on that first example. So what angles are the congruent ones? Okay, I'll give you guys a clue. Here's one of them. Can you name it? Angle.
EF and FG.
You use 3 letters to talk about an angle.
Oh, okay.
Which 3 letters? EF is part of it. Oh, okay, I see. FEH, good. FEH. So starting from F, going to E, going to H, good. And then FGH. Good. Yes, you guys got this. Oh, yeah. FGH is this one. FGH on the bottom. I didn't even draw it in, but somebody answered that part already. Yes, so those 2 blue angles are the congruent ones. Okay, let's go on to number 3. Given that IJLK is a kite, what kind of triangles are formed by diagonal IL? Well, we knew that this is a kite, then those 2 green parts are congruent, and those 2 purple parts are congruent as well. So then when you form these 2 triangles, you have 2 different triangles that have a pair of congruent sides. What is it called when you have a triangle with 2 congruent sides? You remember? Starts with the I.
Isosceles.
Yeah, isosceles triangles. Good. So an isosceles triangle is a triangle that has 2 congruent sides. And if you look at the 2 triangles that we have formed here, we have isosceles triangles. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. Given that LMNO is a kite, what is the relationship between the triangles formed by diagonal MO? So they want you to compare these 2 triangles formed to each other. So like this blue triangle, compare it to our yellow triangle. What can you say about these 2 triangles? They are starts with a C. The word I'm looking for starts with a C.
Congruent.
Yeah, congruent. Good. So they're literally like the same shape, the same size. They're just like flipped versions of each other. So they're congruent triangles. Good job. Okay. Let me scroll over here. Given that PQRS is a kite, which angles are congruent? Okay, so this one's just asking for the congruent angles. So I want you guys to name the congruent angles. We've already done this in like number 2. So it's very similar to number 2. There, I'll show number 2 so you guys can do it. Which are our congruent angles? QPS, good. QPS is this one. Good, is congruent to QRS. Good. Thanks. So yeah, these are our congruent angles, the ones that are kind of like connecting the non-congruent sides. Okay, and then number 6, given that TUVW is a kite, which angles are congruent? Same thing. Use 3 letters to describe an angle.
WTU, UVW.
Yep, WTU is the top one, and then WVU is the bottom one. Good job. So those are our congruent angles. The congruent angles connect the non-equal sides. Okay, so I'll give you guys about 10 more seconds to write this down just in case you need to. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, okay. We got 3 more seconds to go, or not seconds, sections to go. We can do this, okay? I know it's a lot, but you guys are doing really well. Like, I'm really proud of you guys. The figure shown is an isosceles trapezoid with AB parallel to CD. Which sides are congruent? So then, in our example problem, we have isosceles trapezoids. The 2 legs are congruent. So they're the ones that are not parallel. So AC is congruent to BD. Okay. And then for number 2, it's kind of like the reverse of that. They told us that the figure shown is an isosceles trapezoid with EH congruent to FG, which sides are parallel. So the parallel ones are the bases. Can anybody name those? Which are the parallel sides?
EH and FG.
No, those are the congruent sides. What we want are the parallel sides. So can you name those? E connects to,
Is it EF and HG?
yeah, EF. Oops, not congruent. Is parallel to HG. Yeah. So this one is just like the reverse of the one that we just did. So we wanted to, this one's asking which ones are parallel. The first one was asking which ones are congruent. Okay. Give you guys a little bit more time. Okay, let's keep going because class, I don't want class to like run out. Okay, the figure shown is an isosceles trapezoid with IJ congruent to LK. What are the bases? So bases are the parallel sides. Can you name the parallel sides for me? Which one are the bases? Which ones are the parallel sides?
ILJK.
Good. IL and JK are your bases. Bases are the parallel sides. So those are your bases. Good job. I'll just write and. Okay, the figure shown is an isosceles trapezoid with MN. Wait, no, sorry, MP. I can't read for some reason. MP is congruent to NO. So it just says that those are congruent. What are the pairs of base angles? Okay, so this one's different. It's asking about the angles. So let me show you the base angles. This is one of your base angles. This is your other pair of base angles. Let's start with the yellow base angles. Can you guys name, using 3 letters each, those yellow base angles? O, M, I can't read. Oh, okay. I'll use those later. So we have MPO, MPO, and NOP. Good. So those are the yellow ones. And then I think someone else helped us with the purple ones, ONN and PNN. Okay, cool. Good job. So the ONM and the PNM, Those are the purple ones, which somebody private messaged to me. And then we have the yellow ones, which somebody typed to the chat for everybody. The yellow ones are MPO and NOP. Good job. Okay, I'm gonna start moving even faster because we have 10 minutes left in class. I'm sorry for talking to you the entire time. The figure shows an isosceles trapezoid with PQ is parallel to RS. Which sides are congruent? So the congruent sides are which ones, guys? Those two. We gotta name them.
PRQS.
PR. So PR is over here from P to R. Good. And then I heard QS. So from Q to S. So you name them like what are the two endpoints? Good job. And let's see. G and H. Okay. I'm gonna skip the last one. I'm sorry, because we already did the pairs of base angles right here. So I'm gonna skip that one because we're running out of time. Okay, use the given information to answer each question. I think we're gonna skip. No. Oh wait, that is section H, huh? No, F, G, H? Where? Do I just not have an H here? Oh, okay. That's weird. On my, does your book look the same as this? I'm sorry, that was like really weird.
Yeah, it's just like the book. That's how it finishes with those.
Huh, why did I write that I was gonna do until H? That makes no sense. Okay, let's just finish that last problem and call it a day then. Okay, the figure shown is an isosceles trapezoid with LM is parallel to KN, this one. What are the pairs of base angles? Okay, so it's just like the one that we did on top. We need to name the base angles. So I'm gonna mark them. So let's start with naming the yellow ones. Can you guys name the yellow ones? So remember, 3 letters.
LKN.
L, K, N, good. That's this one. So starting at L, going to K, going to N. And then
MNK.
M, N, K, good. Now let's name the purple ones. So these. Let's name these guys. Come on, we got this.
NML.
L, M, N. Is that what you said? L,
LMN.
yep. And the other one? Oh, I think somebody typed it. K, L, M. Yeah, K, L, M. MLK. Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's use MLK because why not? Just because I like that order letters better. MLK, like Martin Luther King. Good. So, I mean, if you use KLM, it's the same thing. I just happen to like MLK. So yeah, there you go. We have finished the example problems with 5 minutes to spare. Does anybody have questions on these last 4 that we did? Because I kind of didn't give you guys time to ask questions. While you guys are typing your questions, if you have any, I want to say that you guys have improved a lot in the way you name your angles and the sides. So good job. And also you guys participated today. I'm so happy. That is not just like me talking at like nothingness, you know? So this is a lot better. Okay, so it looks like there are no questions. I'm gonna stop the recording.